Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show! With the Mario Brothers.
I got nervous. See, in the clip, you gotta be like, zip, do the Mario, clip the drip, zip up and dip. It's a go. Yeah, I'll cut it in. Yo, do the Mario. Doing the Mario. Look at Mario. Luigi. Luigi. Poor little Luigi. Well, welcome. How do we start the show? Welcome to Rhythm and Pixels. My name is Rob Nichols. And it's me, Pernell. Every week we listen to great video game music from all consoles and all generations. This episode is 36-4, our monthly Patreon episode. We record the episode live on a live stream exclusively for Patreon members. If you're interested in hanging out with us, it's patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. Just $1 a month feeds a hungry Pernell. I'm very hungry. All I had today was 5 buffalo bites. This is nothing, folks. Yeah. It's tough on an empty stomach. We can't podcast on an empty stomach. You got to help us out. Actually, I'd say we could. It would just make things weirder. So we originally were planning on having a guest. His name is Mustin. We've had him on the show about 20 years ago. It wasn't that long ago, but it does feel like it was a while back. A whole lifetime ago. And he has a new Mario album out of covers. He's a fantastic musician. And we'll be linking to it on the show notes. I want you to check it out. We'll have him on the show soon. But we're going to continue with the Mario theme because of the Mario movie. And people love Mario. And for the record, unfortunately, he wasn't going to be on this actual episode. But fortunately, he's actually kicking it at VGM Con right now. Yeah, VGM Con is this weekend in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Twin Cities, maybe up there somewhere. Yeah, they don't look all that similar. The Twin Cities. But I want to ask, can you remember? Mario has been around. Some of us on the show are younger. We're not. Some of us listening are a bit younger and probably have. Mario's been around since they were born, but not for us. Not for us. I remember the very first Mario game I played when it came out. I want to know. So can you remember when you first saw? Hey, this is a Mario thing. Yes. Yeah. So the Mario Brothers game I remember playing back in the day. That's the sad part. How old was it? I can't remember which console it was on. It was a console that we had in my house. Was it the Atari 26? It was either the Atari. I don't think it was on ColecoVision, so it would have had to have been an Atari. Yeah. So it is interesting to me that a lot of Nintendo properties ended up on the Atari. Yeah, because it was before there was a Nintendo. Yeah. So I played that, but didn't really think much of it because it was just it's this game where I can make my brother mad at me. But I didn't really get into it like that. It was a versus game. Yeah, straight up. Absolutely. Yeah. So, however, when I was about 6 or 7 years old, actually it's more like 7, I would say, my uncle acquired a Nintendo Entertainment System because he got it when it came out because he was a teenager when the system came out. Now he's in his 50s. Now, did you know about Super Mario before you saw that? No, that was the first time it was literally just, what's this game? Mario came into your home? It was before it was a combo cartridge. It was its own game that you bought at the store. With a Woolworth sticker on it. He brought it in his house. He was like, hey, check out this game I just bought. Yeah. Because that was also back when he was still young enough to not have girls on the mind, so he still hung out with his little nephew. And we sat there and we played this game. And Super Mario Bros. 1 was insanely difficult. It was hard. It was especially when your hands, one, were young, but two, it's a new thing. That controller style is a new thing, that your hands aren't ready to understand, how to move the buttons. But on the positive, at the time, I was actually small enough that the controller was actually built for my hand, which is why adults looking to get that controller at collector's prices for their Switch, I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? We've evolved beyond the little rectangle. Yeah. But back then, it was a good size for me. For me, the most ergonomic, comfortable controller is the PlayStation controller. Yeah. They've got it down. I haven't tried the PS5 controller, but the PS4 controller is perfect. Yes. Yeah. PS5 SE is even better because it's got a little bit more heft to it, which is what I needed. But for the Dreamcast, I used to actually put in a VMU so it'd have more weight. But even on the NES, though, I eventually, as soon as I got around to being able to get one, I switched immediately to the NES Advantage and then the NES Max. And the NES Max became my primary Nintendo controller. So I ditched the rectangle as soon as I could. Yeah. So I don't get that nostalgia one bit. Super Mario Brothers came into the house. You haven't even seen a Nintendo Power or anything. Funny thing, it wasn't even in my house. It was at his house. So So it was also back when my aunt still lived there. And again, he was a teenager, so it wasn't his home. And to play the game, either he had to be there and actively invite us up to his bedroom to play it,
Or if he wasn't there, I would have to sneak up there when he wasn't there. But I had to sneak past my aunt.
Yeah.
And she was not having it. So I relied on her being slightly forgetful and the fact that she was obsessed with Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and Coca-Cola products. Mm-hmm. So if you catch her at the right time, you can make her forget you were actually at the house and then sneak upstairs and turn the TV down low and just play it. And as long as you don't make too much noise, she won't know you're up there.
She knew you were up there. She was just happy that you were like staying out of trouble.
No, she didn't, because the moment she got wind of it, she would yell at you and like, get your man downstairs. What are you doing up there? She caught me. But I did eventually complete the game while just playing sneak attack sessions in the room, utilizing warp zones and stuff. Because there were certain levels I just could not.
It's hard. The later levels in Super Mario Brothers for the NES gets tough.
One of the worlds, I want to say it was World 7, there's a jump where you have to go, it's like you jump off and you have to jump a pretty decent distance to a single column block, and then immediately jump off of that and make a full jump on top of a green pipe with a piranha plant coming out of it.
It's unique.
And you had to have the right momentum and the trajectory right, but the thing about it, though, is with Mario 1, he had terrible momentum. He had this thing where he would run and he would kind of stop, like he couldn't stop on a button, and it was a very annoying flow. Like jumping, he kind of floated, so it was hard to even aim the jumps for half the freaking time. It was hard to maneuver that guy.
The physics were programmed a little odd. So for me, it's probably around that same age, and we would go to Concord Mall. I think it was in the Boscos. It might have been. It's probably at the Strawbridge and Clothier. They used to have a big electronics section on the second floor. Mm-hmm. I remember it was really dark and had a blue carpet, and we would all go up there, and they had like rows of like those big screen TVs, but like the big enormous ones. Mm-hmm. And hooked up to one of them was a Nintendo, and I've never seen one before, and it blew my mind that I could take a controller and can control the TV with it. And that was the first time I ever saw Mario.
So you hadn't played like a pole position or like a Coleco or anything before that? I love how I said a pole position.
I think we had like an Atari like 26 for a while, but like we didn't really like use it a whole lot. We had a Pong unit. We were a Pong family.
Oh, in that case, I can see what you mean, because Pong, going from Pong to Super Mario Brothers is like light years.
And I liked arcade games and stuff, but I was so little that like I could only play like the little half-sized arcade machines at Chuck E. Cheese or Showbiz Pizza.
Showbiz.
They had like Popeye and stuff. Popeye arcade is awesome, by the way. But yeah, and it was just so interesting. But we never had a Nintendo for a very long time because it was just we just didn't have the money for it. So it was just like. I would beg my parents to go to the mall and leave me in the electronics section
where play the demos,
because it wasn't I don't think it was a demo. It was just the game like plugged into the TV.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I call them demos, but really it was just the game on display for you to play.
Yeah, and we figured out like, oh hey, if you hold down select and start, then you can restart the game and continue backward on the level that you left off. We figured out like all these little tricks and stuff.
Here's the question though: how far can you recall getting in the arcade?
At the store. It was probably like World 2 or 3 or something silly like that. We were so little.
That means you had to get good with those warp zones.
But that was the first time I saw like Mario and Nintendo, and I was like, okay, that's a thing. But now like later on, I was never a big Mario player. Like I liked Mario 3 and stuff, but I was never like the thing I went for it. Probably because I never got the Super Nintendo, never got the N64, like all that stuff. I just bypassed like Mario Sunshine, Mario. Luigi's Mansion, all that stuff. I never played any of that.
And that's why
Mario Galaxy. Like, I'm sure it's great.
I gotta tell you, that's why there's a few things. Like one,
I just don't know it.
I will be eternally grateful for having my uncle and my mother for those reasons, because we didn't have money growing up. We didn't have much money at all. But my mom would do weird things here now where she just like, hey, I was able to surprise you with like an NES and like this one cart.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, my dad would get a game from the bargain bin at the store. And my uncle, being the uncle with a part-time job and like free disposable income, he was just buying the games.
Yeah.
And we could mooch. Like he had Trojan, he had Gyromite, he had Super Mario Brothers, he had Urban Champion, he had Kid Nicky, he had a bunch of like these random games that if you talk to a lot of retro heads, they don't even know what they are, because that was back when it was just we're releasing games and they didn't make it to the popularity cut that is currently present. But then the second thing that makes me remember thinking back on that era from playing Master System and whatnot as early as like 6-7 years old is that people underestimate what kids can do with these games when left to their own devices to figure them out. Because even back then, the adults in my house were like, he's really good at this. Like, I'm out there beating game. I beat Mega Man 1 as a child. It gave me a headache because I was concentrating and not drinking water or whatever. But I beat Mega Man 1 when I was like 7.
Yeah, our brains are able to puzzle these things out, and I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of exercises in patience and puzzle solving and coordination that I feel like kind of served us well to be these successful the adults that we are now.
Well, we're still working on that. But that goes to show you, right? Like, I mean, how many times have you heard people make comments about like a board game or a video game, and the person's like, I don't know if my kid's able to play that. Like, not because of the content, but just because they're like, they think it's too complicated. It's like,
I think about that. Yeah, I think about that now, and I'm like, how early can I put a controller in my kid's hand? You know,
as early as you feel comfortable with them watching television.
Yeah, well, my kid watches the Antiques Roadshow all day long,
which means your kid can be playing games right now. But all due honesty, once they get, it's like a sort of like coordination element. Like you start, they're playing at the playground. They have the mobility to actually engage in physical objects and know that my hand can grab this, and I can pull myself up by putting my feet on these other rungs. Like, they start to learn things about how their hands and feet can collaborate to get them places, allow them to do things.
I remember really distinctly going to my cousin's house, like on a holiday or something, and in the basement they had a TV hooked up with Castlevania, and knowing there's a jump button and an attack button, but I couldn't move my thumb fast enough from one button to the other to attack while in the air. And I couldn't get very far. And then someone said, just roll your thumb from one side to the other. And it like changed everything for me. I was like, I don't have to lift my thumb.
That's right.
And here I am in my 40s playing DDR going, I don't have to lift my feet.
I don't have to lift my thumbs either.
I can just shuffle. And
Krista says she's never played an NES or an SNES. That doesn't surprise me, but I have to ask, have you played any of the games from those things before? Because there's a point that happens where there's no reason to go back and play old machines. Because everybody's updating stuff through emulation or through re-releases on more modern consoles. So I could totally see someone be like, I've never played a Master System or a Genesis or a Super Nintendo or an NES or a PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 2 even. But, actually maybe not PlayStation 2 because you got to play that. Because I feel like the only backwards compatible... No, I had emulation, so now I take that back. But for the most part, 16-bit consoles and back, I could totally see somebody like, I just never got to play that. And especially in this current day, because aging people out, it still works. So, so
needless to say, our episode is about Mario. And I said, do the Mario, everything Mario, and everyone and I was like, I want to hear games that weren't like traditional Mario games. I think everyone got the assignment.
They message.
Understood what they're talking about. I'm actually going to start the show off with one of my picks. Because it was so interesting to me and so funny and so different from what I expected. Now, Pernell, you know Mavis Beacon. She teaches typing.
Does she now?
Did you know that for a time in the 90s, Mario teaches typing?
I did know that, and I didn't want to learn from him.
Well, he did. Mario teaches typing. He taught some keyboard. He taught some other things too, some musical instruments. But on Mario Teaches Typing on the PC, on the CD, it's a CD-ROM. If you put it into your CD player, there's a hidden track.
Really?
It's by the rap group Legacy X. It's a rap about typing. It's called Practice Makes Perfect from Mario Teaches Typing.
You made that up.
For the PC CD-ROM.
That's a real thing.
This is a real thing, Pernell.
Who submitted this? It had to be...
No, this is me. This is me.
Oh, this is you.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. This is me. Like,
this is the one you said, I have to play it.
I have to play it. I have to play it.
Oh, let me show you something right quick. Hold up. See? Yeah. Yeah. See what I'm saying? See, bust this. Kick it like this.
get the keyboard and I never make errors. I'm like Mario, don't step through terror. I'm teaching and typing, printing and writing. The theoretical Mario was crashing like a titan. Bang, bang, bang goes the flamethrower thrower. On the mad hunt for the red October. And oh yeah, because I'm here to put the strain on your brain. The cloud flies over and you feel the dark rain.
Practice makes perfect. We're starting like this, and listen like that. Practice makes perfect. We're keying like this, touching like that.
Boom, I break them up into a time warp, turn it to a corpse. Filling you with knowledge is the best source. Really making sure that it sticks in your head so you know that it clicks. It's the G-force coming with the resource. Like an Audi, or better yet a Porsche. Oops, I think I got busy on the Macintosh. You can't believe it. Wow, geez, you're like, God. Never underestimate the power circuit. I jerked it, but jerked it, fool. You know I worked it. Yeah, hold up, wait up. Shh, I think I know. Cause I was told by my man Mario. Yeah.
Practice makes perfect. We're starting like this, listen like that. Practice makes perfect. We're keying like this, touching like that.
Coming back, it's the elder, underground welder, killing all the garbage, so you know I'm making yardage. Just aim to get aim, so I can make good joints, breaking it to the place and making it tight up on the joints. I don't really wanna feel a hot fever, cause you know I got skeezer, grumpy Ebenezer, looking at the way I make the jam and then I revise. All competition getting hypnotized, going straight through the freaky eye fickle, wait until the sweat start to trickle. Oh no, I think you got a malfunction. Hold up and watch while I do a little something.
Practice, you can do it. You can practice, I know you can get it. Practice, you can get it. Started like this, we're busting like that. Practice makes perfect. You can do it like this and finish like that. Practice, perfect. I know. Practice and learn all you can.
This is
Type this.
it is a song about typing.
Type
About
this.
Mario teaching you typing. It
Type
makes
that.
it makes me so happy that this is real and it exists.
Don't let Mario see that you whack. Type this quite quickly. 42 words per minute exactly.
Yeah, it's
No errors, bro.
Oh, it's
No.
Friday night, and we're gonna be typing.
Typing all night.
Typing instead of going to the club, we're typing all night. This is a Practice Makes Perfect from Mario Teaches Typing for the PC CD-ROM by Legacy X. Gregory R. Allen. Lyrics and vocals by Andre Eggins. Wow, dude.
Hey, I liked it. Like we were talking about in the chat. This is reminiscent of classic 80s and early 90s
Yeah.
hip hop. And old man speaking, fine by doing it too, fine by admission, but I preferred it. I like that style. I've always liked that style. And even though I will say it was more so because I found other genres of music that stuck with me harder, I will say a large part of it also was just because the style changed and I didn't change with it.
Yeah. I feel like I have like a nostalgia hit for a certain style of rap music. This era and maybe like another decade later. Mm-hmm. But then past that, I kind of fell out. I think it's with the internet. The dawn of the internet kind of ruined it for me. But I can't even say that. Like the 50 Cent era, like right around there.
Well, I will say the dawn of the internet did it for me,
Eminem,
though.
I'm like, I don't care about that.
The internet actually did that for me. But
Yeah.
that's because by accessing the internet, you gained access to music beyond your station.
Yeah.
So if people in your neighborhood and community weren't listening to electronic music, you would have found it on the internet eventually, And that's when you're like, whoa, this is a style of music I never would have thought I'd like, and now I'm all for it.
Did you play any of these like typing games? Maybe not this one, but did you ever play like typing, like a typing tutor video game?
I wish I could say yes, but I want to say aside from the House of the Dead, no, because my typing classes were on classic typewriters, and what I mean by classic is click, click, bing,
Like
click,
not
click,
even
bing,
like a
bing.
word processor, like electronic typewriter. You had like a
Later class, I had another
Wow.
class in the future where I had one like in high school.
No kidding.
But in middle school, it was boop.
wow.
boop,
So
boop,
we
boop.
had Apple IIe's in middle school, maybe like early PCs to teach us, and they had like a typing class, like to teach us how to type. And we had a game where like it was like a city down below, kind of like shoot, I can't remember, not Moon Patrol, one of the old school Missile Command, like Missile Command.
Mm-hmm.
And the words are coming down like missiles, and you have to type the words to knock them out of the sky
Maybe I did
before
play
they
that.
hit the bottom. And I thought it was so cool. So in high school, I learned, what was it, C++ to try to recreate that game. I got pretty far with it, but like,
You say that, I feel like I might have played that
Yeah.
game before though, but I look at that in the form of like number munches, where it's like
Yeah,
I
it
can't
was-
really line those up with like typing classes being like, okay, you have to type these words out, and you have to get rated by a certain amount of words per minute and all
yeah,
that
like
stuff.
the Mavis Beacon teaches typing I've never actually seen before. I've only seen the box because I worked at the electronics boutique, and that was always on the wall.
and of course they hit you
Yeah.
with that ASDF JKL semicolon, right?
What they hit you with the ASDF JKL semicolon.
Yes. Home row.
Home row.
Yes.
I'm like, what? Like,
If
I'm
the
like, yes,
game
these are
doesn't
keys on the
mention,
keyboard.
if the game doesn't mention home row keys, it's not teaching you typing.
That's why
it's just telling you to type.
That's why the little bumps are on there, so you know where your fingers are.
Yes, home row keys. That's how you're supposed to type. How many people do that now? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
In fact, I think I said it on the show in the past, but the way I actually learned how to type was by cheating at it. So in my school, we would
How
have,
do you
like I said,
cheat at typing?
I'm getting to that. So at my school, we used to have, again, like the classic typewriters,
Yeah.
which means that you couldn't back key because it's actually ink getting slapped onto the page.
Right. You had to
So-
like, use some kind of whiteout situation to do it.
Yeah, so the teacher would grade us on how much we were able to type up, how many mistakes we made of the request, right? And she'd be watching us like a hawk. But every once in a while, she'd have to leave the room for something. And when she left the room, I went from home row to 2 fingers.
Oh.
And I was like, so what ended up happening was, by way of having to know where the keys were to get to them as fast as I could, to not get in trouble and get as much done as I could, I learned where key placement was, so that when I eventually started using the homework, I was, wait a minute. Okay, I got this. And it started coming back to me. All of a sudden, it's like, by way of learning the keys by cheating with 2 fingers,
Yeah.
I learned where they were for better use when I had my fingers on the home row. So next thing you know, it just translated over. But
Man, back in the TransUnion days, my first like few months working there, I did data entry. That was my job because I could type fast. And because before me there was, I forget the guy's name. He passed away. He had a prosthetic leg and stuff. And goodness, he had a name that was like a famous guy. His name was like Michael Jackson or something like that, or like Cindy Crawford. I forget. He had some kind of weird Bill Crawford. And
I remember that guy.
Yeah. And so he'd look at me like, "How do you type like that?" I said, "Well, how do you type?" And he goes, "Seek and destroy. Boom, 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 boom." I'm like, "You're getting nothing done today, man." And he's like, "I'm getting paid for it. I'm getting paid.
That's all that matters.
I'm paid by the hour, not by the word."
They're not judging on the speed, so that's all that matters.
Okay, so that was my pick. Pernell, this is traditionally these episodes are listener picks, but I had to put that one on the show.
Hey, I totally understand. That means you can just slip one in there like later on, just like, and this also is a track from a listener too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my first pick is actually going to come from Electric Boogaloo, because this is an actual track. I've never heard it until this episode, and holy crap, this is what I wanted. This is what if this isn't an athletic theme, this is what I wanted. So this is actually from F-Zero X expansion kit for the 64 Double D. So basically, a version of F-Zero that only came out in Japan because we never got the 64 Double D expansion. And this track is an F-Zero-fied version of Rainbow Road. And for those who know me, you know how much I love the sound font on F-Zero X.
Yes.
Not GX per se, specifically X. So, yeah, this is Rainbow Road from F-Zero X expansion, composed by Kenta Nagata and arranged by Taro Bondo. Welcome back. What you are listening to is not Barracuda by Heart. This is actually
Nothing like Barracuda,
nothing like Barracuda.
as we've discovered. Sorry, guys.
This is actually Rainbow Road from the F-Zero X expansion kit 64 Double D. EB actually just clarified that all this time is actually pronounced 64 DD, and since I was, for as long as I can remember being a teenager, I've always pronounced it this way. It probably isn't going to change as I'm an old man. But this is composed by Kenta Nagata and arranged by Taro Bando. And this is what Electric Boogaloo had to say about this magnanimous track. I love this tune so much. I could have chosen the original Mario Kart 64 version of this track, one of my favorite Mario-related songs out there. But I wanted to go a bit different and go with this excellent rock remix of Rainbow Road off the F-Zero X expansion kit for the very ill-fated 64DD add-on. When I first heard this, I was pleasantly surprised on how good this was. I was kind of bummed to know we never got this expansion outside of Japan, because it did add a fair bit to the F-Zero X experience, like a track editor. New cups to race through, music in stereo, and new songs like this spectacular remix. If somehow you have the power to get this expansion kit running, it's at least definitely worth it to race Rainbow Road with this song at very high speeds. And yeah, if you're playing F-Zero X, there's no speed to go butt high, because that game has you tossing and bouncing off of walls.
It is interesting to me that in Japan they had the Famicom, like the NES Famicom, then they had the Famicom disk system. Mm-hmm. So there was a discs that you could download or buy, like, cheap discs of games, and that's like they had Zelda, Metroid, Kid Icarus. You could put them into your Famicom and play them that way, and it was big in Japan. But then when it came out to America, they ported those games to cartridges, and because a lot of them you couldn't save the game to a disc, they made them battery saves. And then in Japan, they had the N64, and they added again the DD as a disc drive, a disc expansion to the system, and we never got that.
Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, again, I had never had one, so I'm going off of what I feel like I remember reading in like EGM or whatever, but I want to say Zelda's Master Quest was originally done on the 64 DD. D to D. So the 64 day to day. There you go.
Day to day.
But we never got to try it until we got that special disc that came out for, what was it, the GameCube as a Wind Waker pre-order, I think it was. Which I still have at home, and I still never beat that Master Quest. I'm okay admitting that.
Oh, that Master Quest came out as like kind of an extra like little thing you could play.
Yeah, so there were two different Zelda games that got respective like pre-order, back when pre-order content was actually really cool. And those discs were, I think one of them was for the Wind Waker GameCube game, but you got a Legend of Zelda disc that came with Ocarina of Time Master Quest and the original Ocarina of Time. So, just like Master Quest was on the original Legend of Zelda, Master Quest on Ocarina of Time was a sort of remixed version of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Oh, cool.
Made to be a little bit more challenging and just different, which was cool. So, I wonder if it still sells for a lot, but there was a point where it actually was worth a fair bit of money. And I can't remember what the other Zelda promo disc was. I want to say it was just like a collection of Zelda games, like Adventure of Link and Legend of Zelda. Unfortunately, not like Link to the Past, but like a couple Zelda games. I might even look it up on the break and see if I can recall what it was. Or EB will just tell me. But essentially, I thought those were really cool bonuses to have. And it got me thinking about the 64 expansion. So...
This is so in F-Zero X, is this like, I'm assuming this is like a Rainbow Road stage, right? Maybe like added to the game.
Very possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I
couldn't
couldn't
know.
tell you.
Right,
I couldn't tell you. But I'm going to assume that
like
they used the Rainbow Road tune, then that would be the case. And it does kind of add a little bit of a flair to the fact that it took until Mario Kart 8, but Mario Kart 8 has an F-Zero track in it.
Yeah.
And it's a really good track too, mind you. So, God, we need more F-Zero tracks in Mario Kart. Or we need a new F-Zero.
A new F-Zero would be great. A new F-Zero would be great. I'm playing through Wipeout Omega Collection on PlayStation, and I am trying so hard to play through that game. It is so hard. I'm getting my anti-gravity racing fix through that game. But it's still technically a remake of older games.
Here we go. EB foot to the rescue. I knew he would do it.
What's he say?
So the other disc that I was recalling was just a collector's edition disc on GameCube. It included Zelda. I was right then almost. It was Zelda, Zelda 2, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So I was pretty freaking close.
Oh, like Zelda, like NES Zelda.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
And it was a pre-order. That was the one that was the pre-order bonus for the Wind Waker. So now I'm trying to remember what the GameCube, what the game was that the other one I was recalling came with. I'll find that out later too. But I do love those collectors. And I still have all those at home. Every last one of them. Just sitting around in a box somewhere. Soon to get moved to the basement. Or played, because I'm still playing a Saturn right now.
Yeah, it's your retro room is still, playing. Still bumping.
Yeah.
Still popping.
Like I said, I'm playing through Shining Force 3 so slowly, but it's happening.
It's happening. All right, my next track, let's stay with the Mario Kart theme here. This is from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The track is from Shroom Ridge, from the DS version of Shroom Ridge. So it's from Mario Kart.
No.
DS Shroom Ridge?
Yes, it is. But it's done on Mario Kart 8.
But it's on Mario Kart 8. Yeah, so it's the Shroom Ridge from Mario Kart DS arranged on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yes.
I don't have the full composer list because I'm sure it's going to be as long as my arm. I'll have it on the show notes, I swear. This is picked from our podcaster in arms and friend, Alex the Messenger.
Messenger.
This is a jam. This is a serious jam. Mario Kart music is almost always a jam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is the Shroom Ridge from Mario Kart DS. This is seriously good. I like this a lot.
I'm enjoying the bar.
It's that lead synthesizer sound. It sounds like it's talking. I love that sound.
Oh my god.
I love and then the backing, the brass is cool. The brass music tells you this is a Mario game. When did brass music get associated to Mario games? Do you know? Because it wasn't in. Was there brass music in Mario 64?
I want to say this is where a correction could totally come in handy, but I want to say the first Mario game that kind of went outside the. Whoa! I just cut off a little.
No, you're
bit.
good. You're good.
The first Mario game that kind of went outside the normal audio stylings was probably Mario 3D World.
Mario 3D World.
That's what I'm recalling. I mean,
what system was that? It was a DS?
No, I was on the Wii.
On the Wii.
Yeah.
Wii it up. All right.
So I remember playing that and being very surprised by the style of music that they used for it.
Yeah.
Like it went orchestral for the OST. And then, I don't want to say Odyssey because I could be well wrong with that. But Mario 3D World, Mario Kart 8, not 7 though, because 7 was on the DS at the time.
Yeah.
But Mario Kart 8 and 3D World were like the best examples I can think of. Odyssey had a couple high production value tracks in it, but I want to say that the overall spectrum of the OST for that game was still. Oh, Mario Galaxy had a couple tracks like that too that were like high performing, more of like an orchestral bit.
Yeah, high energy with like big band, big brass band.
Yes, Mario Galaxy too.
I feel like that sound now is and that and like the kind of like pitch bendy like the sound is definitely associated to Mario games.
And I'll take that over. Wop, wop. Wop, wop.
I kind of like that sound.
I like doing it in jest, but not so much when it's the actual intent of those two. Wop, wop.
Well, because when I think of Mario, again, like my experiences are again, my main experiences are 8-bit, on the Game Boy and on the NES. And so I think if that music, it kind of translates back to the brass band style, because it is fun, it's silly, it's not really jazzy. It's just like,
Wop, wop.
Fun. Yeah.
I'm gonna just keep doing that now.
That's just the style at the time.
That was the style. And the sad part about it, at that time, people considered it to be innovative, and they weren't pretty much wrong about that because the way the OST worked in Mario, New Super Mario Brothers was whenever it went whop whop, the characters on the screen danced to the music.
I love that.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
But then you're used to like classic Mario games where it was like you had the athletic themes that were awesome, you had the bass themes that were awesome. The music was just a good spectrum of tunes.
Yeah.
And then this is a game where half the friggin' tracks just had whop in it. No matter what, the underground track, whop whop.
Oh, we had a testimonial from Alex.
We should get to that.
I should probably read that. Yeah. So Alex the Messenger says, this track from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a jam. When they announced the Booster Course Pass last year, I was anticipating if the music was going to be as good as the base game, and to the surprise of no one, they nailed the soundtrack again. That's great.
This is really
great.
good.
I feel like they spent a lot of time on the music. I spent a lot of resources and money on the soundtracks to the Mario games.
It's funny that I hate saying this because it is me praising DLC, but they did a good service with how they're treating Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
With racing games, I understand DLC. It's like you're playing like the same game for a year or two. Why not add additional tracks?
But that's
cool.
That's just the thing, though. They didn't have to. So Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out, and at the time, it was Nintendo just dropping a bunch of different games that originally were on the Wii U, their failed system, and saying, here it is again on your Switch.
Oh, 8 Deluxe was Wii U?
Yeah, the original Mario Kart 8 was on the Wii U.
Oh, see, I didn't know this stuff.
So
I'm not a nerd.
That's right. Well, actually, Rob, I'm fine with it.
I just didn't. I
just
didn't know. I assumed this was the Switch version because I think it's what I played with. My nieces.
This is. You're right.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is there was a period where Nintendo was re-releasing a bunch of games that were originally on Wii U, calling them Deluxe or Ultimate or whatever, and dropping them on the Switch because now they have a successful system. Why let these great games languish on the system that didn't take off?
Oh, okay.
So when this game came out, similar to Ultimate, Smash Bros. Ultimate initially, I was like, why am I going to buy it again? I bought it on the Wii U. What are they giving me that warrants a second purchase? And at the time, it was just all the DLC from the Wii U is now on the disc or on the cart. So I was like, well, that's a decent reason, but I wish they did something more with this. And then out of nowhere, in a sea of people complaining about, where's Mario Kart 9? I want the 9th game. Nintendo was like, we're just going to make multiple 4 DLC packs, each one having 8 courses on it.
Yeah.
Which in itself is an entire new game right there, just from the DLC packs.
Wow.
And some of the tracks are remixes of classics, which Mario Kart is one of the few series I can think of where them saying, we just took this kart that we made on Super Nintendo and slapped it on the Switch, and people go, oh my God! And they have every reason to be happy about it.
It's going to be very, very different. I mean, sure, the Super Nintendo was essentially a 2D game. So,
I agree. I'm just saying, but it's just the fact that they do that, and most of us are happy about that. It speaks volumes. But then they added new tracks too, including some tracks that were originally on their handheld, their mobile version that I didn't buy, but it was good to play them on the official system.
Maybe the DD stands for Double Dash.
No.
Double D?
No, Double Dash was its own beautiful thing that I wish they would bring back in some capacity.
You had to work together to do that, right? That was a team game.
We tore that game up. I remember being at a house party with some people playing it, and my friend and I were on the same team, and we had to synchronize to do the blue sparks in that game. Both players had to click in unison, going left to right on their thumbsticks, and then releasing it around the same time. So I was very much inebriated, and I just started going, all right, man, it's time to do the thing. Clicky, 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 clicky. And we would do it, and we had a timing that we built up. So that's why everyone was like, Chase, he was like, no, he's my partner. And every single time the race came on, we were just destroyed.
Like you both learned the secret handshake, and now you can't change that.
You can't change it.
You are bonded forever.
We had the secret handshake.
Do you remember who it was?
Yeah, it was Nate.
I don't remember who it was.
No, I remember, but no one in the show would know, but you know it was Nate.
Oh, Nate.
Yeah.
Oh, Nate with Nate from Nate and Maria.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
But it was just I was like, quick, let's do it. And people were like, how are you guys so good at that? I'm like, hey, don't worry about what we do. We're just that good. But yeah, Double Dash had some items that never got brought back into this franchise afterwards.
Oh, like what?
Well, the Heart Shield was my favorite. I think the Chain Chomp went away, but they kind of replaced it with the current one. You get the Piranha Plant that eats up. So that's a little bit of a similar. There was a Bowser shell that you used to get where it was like a super-sized version of a turtle shell with Bowser's spikes that just like bowled down the course.
Mario Kart's a game where, like, if you were to play that with no items, it would be so much more boring.
Yes, I agree.
Like, that game is all about battle, you know?
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, it kills me that there are people who want to be like these like levels of pure. Similar to Smash Bros. Like, no, turn the items off. That's where the real skill is.
Smash Brothers is like, it's a tight enough like arena fighter where it's like I kind of get it, but in Mario Kart, it's like no, it's all about the weapons.
I don't get it in any of them, and I'll tell you why. So they designed these games to be in a party scope. Like, they want you to have fun, get ridiculous, and they created these games with elements of chaos to them, right? So to me, in my heart of hearts, the way to prove mastery of the game... Heart of hearts. Heart of the cards is to prove mastery of the space they created, which means at minimum the default. And the default is items set to on at base level availability, all courses, and you just do as well as you can, right? You take care of that. And then afterwards you can modify, like, okay, now we're going to take items out here and there and do these different things. But to say that the best version or the purest version of the game is to take out this main element, it's like, so why not play a different fighting game at this point? In the same case with Mario Kart, I'm like, okay, you turn all the items off, go play F-Zero. I mean, you want a pure racing game that's going to melt your face. That's what F-Zero is, which is why they need to make a new F-Zero.
You're saying, like, if you want that style of game, you're playing the wrong game.
Yes,
yeah,
like
exactly.
They make games for that, you know? Like, this is Nintendo saying, well, here's this kart racing game, but we made a bunch of crazy zany items to turn the tide when you're behind.
For once, Pernell, I agree with this argument. I know, it's crazy, right? I'm not going to walk away and be like, man, Pernell really got to me today. All right, I think we're on to your next track.
All right, let's see what I got on the docket. So, let me scroll. Oh, you did a thing on here. Okay, I just named that.
Yeah, I keep moving things around because I like to
I understand.
Put the track list up top.
All right, the next one comes from listener Martyrs. I'm sorry, buddy, this isn't the hype track you wanted me to play, but this is a track that I also really love, and I'm glad you submitted it to the show. This comes from the game Super Mario RPG, and the track title is called Beware the Forest Mushrooms, composed by the legend herself, Yoko Shimomura. Welcome back. You're listening to Beware the Forest Mushrooms from the game Super Mario RPG, woohoo! Composed by Yoko Shimomura, and that was not Charles Martinet. That was me, Pure Perny. This was submitted by listener and friend Martyrus, and this is what he had to say about this tune. Super Mario RPG has been one of my best teenage memories of the Super Nintendo. I was enamored by the graphics. I mean, wow, Mario in 3D! Sort of. Enriched by the gameplay. What? Mario fights with fists and jumps? And totally in for the whole. I regret that I didn't have a chance to finish the game, though. Pernell addendum, you need to get on that, dude. Finish this game. I keep hoping that the game will come out to the Switch via SNES Online services. Of course, I wouldn't mind if they remade the game with updated graphics, a remixed soundtrack, and perhaps some extended content. That makes all of us. Welcome to the fold of people who've been clamoring for a sequel to this game for ages. Because yes, Alpha Dream, though I don't think they make them anymore, Alpha Dream's Mario RPGs were spectacular. But
Alpha Dream?
So Alpha Dream was a company, like a Nintendo second party, essentially, that made the Mario and Luigi games. So Mario and Luigi, Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, and Bowser's Inside Story. And I want to say they did Dream Team also. I think Dream Team was their last game. But
I only knew about those games. I saw watching you play them at work.
yeah, that's right, because
Yeah.
you saw me in the break room with Mario Advance, Mario Superstar. So like, come on, get the timing right.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like a puzzler almost.
And you were probably the only coworker that looked at me and didn't go, "What the heck is that guy's problem?" Because I was into it. But yeah, despite the fact that I loved Alpha Dream's take on them, not so much the current versions, though. They're not bad. They're just not as good. I will say that me and many others would love to see a return to this universe with all the characters that they created specifically for this game. The universe created specifically for this team. You fought a possessed wedding cake, and it was great. So there it is. They went bankrupt and closed. I knew they were gone for some reason, but that's still why I missed them.
Oh, the group bankrupt.
They went bankrupt, but they were such a good company. Their games were solid.
I have a question for you. Pernell, are you ready for some double bonus round? The double D bonus round?
Bonus round, double D.
Bonus round. Bonus round is where we play covers and remixes and arrangements on our theme. We received so many wonderful arrangements and tracks in our inbox that we're going to have some extra bonus round tracks. This next track was submitted to us from our listener and guest on the show, other podcaster, Christopher Shenstrom, host of Gameable Audio. He sent us music from Super Mario World. It's by Benjamin Briggs. So I love Benjamin Briggs. So I made a complete fool of myself in front of Benjamin Briggs at MagFest.
By the way, you'll have to tell that fun story.
That's a fun story. This is called No Yoshi. I was exhausted, so I didn't know what I was doing. The track is called No Yoshis Allowed. Let's listen. fact, that was Benjamin Briggs. No Yoshi's Allowed. Super Mario World. This was sent to us by Chris Shenstrom. He says, considering the release of the new Super Mario Brothers movie, personally, I was not too hyped about it. On paper, it felt mediocre and maybe good at best. But as always, when there's any nerdy references in movies, I'll be there. Said and done, I grabbed tickets for the premiere here in Sweden, and it was such a blast. All caps. In all honesty, I do believe this is one of the best movies on a nerdy IP, and I do hope Nintendo and Illumination will follow up with more. So when it came to the soundtrack to the movie, there were some references to the games, however, but most of the music were original content. There was one track that I felt was missing, or maybe I missed it, and that was the castle theme from Super Mario World. In addition to providing awesome remixes, I'm here to step it up once again, and this time with a remix from Benjamin Briggs and his remix from Super Mario World, No Yoshi's Allowed. And I cut you off. I want to know the heart shield.
So
Shield
so
from,
this was
from Mario Kart.
Yeah, this was spawned because Christopher Shenstrom made a comment about how awesome the Chain Chomp was in response to our earlier dialogue about lost Mario Kart Double Dash power-ups. And I was like, I feel like a lot of people slept on the Heart Shield as being as awesome as it is. So essentially, it was a typical shield item because a lot of times in these games, people would get the 3-shell item specifically to use it as a block for other things coming at you. But the Heart Shield was intended to be a shield with the bonus effect being that when you got hit by something, the shield soaked it up and then gave you an attack item to use immediately thereafter.
Oh, that's nice. So, like, you're in first place, you're getting hit with a blue shell. If you were hanging on to that Heart Shield, you could absorb the blue shell and then do something with it.
Well, you don't absorb. I don't think you take the blue shell and it becomes a blue shell.
No, but maybe it turns into like an item and you get like, oh, I got a banana.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it becomes another item. And I used to love the fact that was a thing that you say, well, I got this item. You think you got me, but no, you just fueled my rage. I'm just going to start tossing crap back.
You just added to my anger.
I loved the Heart Shield
All right,
in
Pernell,
that game.
We got to move on to the next because it's a bonus round to get to.
Yes, we do.
What's the one? What
So
is
my
it?
first track from this double dose of bonus comes from Bedroth, actually. And this is surprisingly a Super Mario Land 2 medley that was done by Brentalfloss, but I'm of the camp that agrees with it being much more awesome when the lyrics come out. And this is a lyricless version of that track. I loved what I heard, so I wanted to play it on the show. Welcome back. You just listened to the Super Mario Land 2 medley composed by Brentalfloss sans lyrics. So, just to clarify, because I feel like this might get misconstrued depending on who's listening. Oh, I like Brentalfloss, and I do like some of his music. In fact, I'm positive I've played at least one or two of his tracks on this show in the past. However, every once in a while, you do hear a track where the composition is so good that you're like, I don't want lyrics to this. I want to hear the music now, because now that I'm done laughing at the hilarious lyrics he came up with, I just want to hear the music. And guess what? It delivered. And bonus points is the fact that when we chose a Do the Mario themed episode, I was thinking, oh man, hopefully we get so many athletic themes on this episode. And oddly enough, this is the only one we got in any variation. This is the only Mario athletic theme that came through on this episode.
Yeah.
So it had to get played.
Yeah, it's actually almost unusual that we didn't get like a ton of athletic themes, but there's a lot of athletic themes.
Yes.
I think it's hilarious. We call it the athletic theme.
I don't even know why they did that.
Yeah.
It's just
Someone named it.
someone chose it and it's stuck.
Yeah.
But
All right.
this is the testimonial that Bedroth submitted to the show.
What we got from Bedroth?
He goes, I would like to submit for this live show's bonus round a remix/mashup of tunes from Kazumi Totaka's soundtrack for Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins. This was the music that Brent Black, a.k.a. Brentalfloss, arranged for his with lyrics cover based on the game. However, due to Fan the Man, he subsequently released his without lyrics version. Brent is a really cool guy, and he's kind of like the Weird Al of video game music. If his master's degree in musical theater doesn't convince you that he's got Yankovic-level musical chops, hopefully this arrangement will. I'm trying to remember what the one that brought him to fame was. I want to say it was the Moon theme.
It was either the Moon theme or the Tetris one. The Tetris one was really funny, but I think it was the Moon theme because it was like, I remember that one line that's just like, I'm going to take you to the moon, and you're going to have $100 bills. Oh, my God, I said bill. I'm a duck. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm a duck. Oh, my God.
I thought that was very, very, yeah.
The Dr. Mario was also legit fantastic,
yeah,
too.
that was.
I am Dr. Mario, and I have got the pills. It's like I used to sing that song a lot at work.
Yeah, he really, he stayed with the music and he stayed creative for so long. I think is he still performing?
Absolutely.
I think so,
He goes to MAG.
He goes to MAG. Very, very funny.
I almost want to say at the end of the episode, we should play the Dr. Mario track because I want to hear. I am Dr. Mario, and I have got the...
All right, we are doubling up on the bonus round. My track is, it's actually for Martyrus, and he says, oh my God, I hope you play this. So this is Bowsette by the band The Chalk Eaters, vocals by Necro G and Merritt Giddy.
Slowly dropping the hole. Three caddy clouds running down, they laughing at me from the top. fear. Don't have to power up to solve that puzzle. She's out there.
You want me to repeat it?
She's also busy with her fancy hustle. Should be with some praise now with you, my dear. Your princess may be in another castle, but I'm still here. Oh, 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 but I'm still here. Oh, oh, but I'm still here. Princess may be in another castle. Don't forget how you did harder to fire. Your princess may be in another castle. Vibes hit the ground and it's flaming desire.
That was the Chalk Eaters with Bowsette. Very pop punky, kind of a like early 2000s pop punky sound. I really liked that. That was by the Chalk Eaters, Necro G and Merritt Giddy. That was from Chris Shenstrom. I'm sorry.
No, that was from Martyrs.
Excuse me, from Martyrus. Martyrus says, "Oh God, I hope you play this. You will have my eternal gratitude, and I will be indebted as your forever fan and Patreon until the show stops being produced."
Gonna call you on that.
That's it, man.
You're locked in.
Release one show a year.
Sign the contract.
In any case, this is actually a remake of the original song, re-recorded from scratch, yet using the original singers Necro G and Merritt Giddy. Oh wait, do you know about the beloved Queen of Chaos Bowsette, born from a cartoon because of an item introduced in New Super Mario Bros. Deluxe called the Super Crown? This item was meant for Toadette to transform into Peachette, but someone thought, what happens if Bowser wore the Super Crown? Chaos did ensue as a new set of fans flocked to Her Highness. And yes, I'm proud to be a card-carrying member of Bowsette's fandom. All hail her nastiness. So yeah, thank you very, very much, Martyrus. That was a blast.
I feel like the thing that made me chuckle the most about that whole trend was the fact that it immediately just was like, okay, it's not about Bowser anymore. What if any character, in the game got the Super Crown? So it was like Chain Chompette and Boo-It.
Yeah, everyone's like, let's draw them all like cute females. Done.
Boo-It. I was saying Boo-It. Simpsons.
Okay. Boo-It. All right. Yeah, we're up to you. Do you have another one?
Of course I do.
You do.
Let me just, get to my spot here. Actually, this was one that I am genuinely surprised is a thing, and I was picking my tracks before going to the gym, so I didn't have time to go and do the research, but now I got to see what this original version of this is, because this is wild. This came from GameFan44, friend and listener of the show, and she submitted a track from Insane in the Rain Music for Mario Party DS titled Anti-Piracy Music. And it already sounds great in its own right, but I am really curious about the original version of it.
は EV ソロを吹きます。皆さん聞いてください。
Welcome back. You were just listening to anti-piracy music done for Mario Party DS, covered by Insane in the Rain Music. And again, I am very much curious about what the original was, because the idea that there's a track specifically tailored to showing off people, heard by people who pirated a game, that is bliss right there to me. So I'm going to look that up. Unfortunately, GameFan didn't provide a testimonial for the track per se.
So one will be provided for you.
Oh, okay. Hey guys, GameFan44 here. Great show. Glad I was able to I'm hopefully going to make it to the episode today. Spoiler, she made it. I want to submit to this episode a track from Mario Party DS titled Anti-Piracy Music, covered by Insane in the Rain Music. Insane in the Rain Music is one of the top composers of the cover scene, and I love to support them whenever I can. So I wanted to bring their track to this show so that you could all hear it. Also, Mario Party DS is a game that you all should play more of because, well, yeah, duh. So also just want to say that I, GameFan44, am an awesome person, and just saying, hang out with the best by joining me here on Rhythm and Pixels Discord chat or whatever.
Right.
And this is Pernell embellishing in a lot of ways. Hopefully she doesn't cut me for making this weird.
I wasn't expecting you to do it, to jump right in.
Hey, you put me on the spot. I had to come up with something. So,
well, for more information for the bonus round part of our show, go to rhythmandpixels.com, where we're going to have links to the Bandcamps and SoundCloud's web pages, everywhere where you can go and find these artists, buy their music, and support them. Okay, thanks to everybody for joining us today on episode 36-4 of Rhythm and Pixels. Mario Madness, or just do the Mario?
Do the Mario Madness.
Do the Mario Madness.
Swing your arms from side to side, unless you're in the coat in the trenchios.
Yeah, don't swing your arms if you're in the car. You hit your brother.
You're in a trench coat because you're bad.
Yeah, wow. So lots of. I really wanted some just different Mario music, and that's exactly what we got. All different styles and different games. Not just Mario 3, not just Mario 2. We got some Mario Kart.
I feel like that would have worked. Swing your arms from side to side, unless they're in the coat because you're bonkers. Oh.
I have no, unless you're in a coat because you're bonkers.
Yeah, do the Mario Madness.
The Mario Madness. Madness. Trench coat.
Or a stretch jacket.
Oh, because you're crazy.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. I understand now. I thought this was like a game I didn't know.
No.
Or like a band reference that I wasn't for.
Nope. Just
like I know Madness, but did they have a thing with no? They were like ska music.
The ska.
The ska. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining in. This was a live streamed recorded episode. A lot of fun recording in front of you today. If you want to be part of our show next time, you can check us out on Patreon. Well, patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. But if in the meantime, if you want to get in contact with us, if you want to say hi, hello, how you doing, or send a track suggestion, a topic suggestion, or even a band suggestion of a remix or a cover, send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And for a full track listing of this episode and access to all of our episodes, please go to the website.
www.rhythmandpixels.com.
We pay extra for those 3 W's.
That's right.
Yeah. So
They don't come cheap.
So I hope you enjoy it. Go visit the website so we get our money's worth of those extra W's.
Try W.
We also have a YouTube radio station at youtube.com/rhythmandpixels. It is 8-bit and 16-bit classics and deep cuts curated and presented by Rob and Pernell from Rhythm and Pixels. Coming soon, a little preview, is a KVGM Radio, The Last Wave. I'm putting together a second server for KVGM Radio. All chill, funky jams, all from Hammock. Hammock's a little live stream station. Putting that together. So that'll be out hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So I'll have links to that on our website and linked everywhere that Rhythm and Pixels is talked about online. We'll be there too. So we'll be checking that out. We also have a Patreon. So if you want to support us, the best thing to do is just to tell people about it or to share it. You know, if someone asks you if you're listening to podcasts, you say absolutely, and they say what, like you listen to like NPR, or do you listen to this movie show? And you say no, I listen to video game music, and then list every single video game music podcast you could think of. You can also support us by going to Patreon, patreon.com/rhythmandpixels, where as a member at all levels, you get access to these monthly live streams. I say monthly, we are trying to stay monthly. If we miss one, we're going to do double up on those. And then we also at higher levels get cool stuff like mugs and t-shirts and stickers. And there's even some exclusive stuff you can get on our radio station. But at the end of every episode, we'd like to thank those members at the highest levels. So first we want to thank Brooke, Corey, and Khalid. All 3 of you, thank you very, very much for your continued support of our show.
Greatly appreciate it. And also thank you very much for the letter, Khalid. It was a great one. And a good laugh with the catch on the Haribo.
Yeah, good catch on that. Yeah, apparently we did say Haribo was Swedish when we meant to say Algrens is the Swedish gummy.
Haribo is the German company.
Haribo is the German. This is the Germans.
Simpsons, don't it?
I want to thank to Kristen, GameFan44. Thanks for hanging out with us. Martyrus, host of the VGM podcast, also hanging out with us. Thank you very much. Mike Myers, thank you very much for hanging out with us. Host of the I'm Also a Daddy podcast. He's also a daddy.
I'm also a daddy podcast.
he is another daddy. Thank you to Vashin8060. Thank you to the Super Game Station, www.supergamestation.com. Thank you to Antmaster, Brian Pitt, Cameron Werma, Carlos, Kung Fu Carlito from the Heroes 3 podcast, Chris Weisner, a.k.a. Musashi219.
The Wise Guy.
Christopher Sandstrom, host of Gameable Audio. Thank you to Chuck Kowalski, Davey Cakes, David Good, David Taylor, Enchilada Regol, Harold Howard, Triple Jeff, Justin Schneider, host of XVGM Radio. Thank you to Keith Shusterman. Thank you to Dr. Michael Bridgewater. Thank you to Rage Cage, host of the VG Emporium podcast. Thank you to Reinhard Zilkova, Romancing Sagat, Sleepy S'more, Steve Miller, Taco, and Zach Thornbach. Thank you to all of you and many, many more for continuing to support our little show.
Much appreciated.
Huge thank you. Yeah, it means so much to us seeing your names every week that we do the show. And all the money goes towards hosting, goes towards equipment, goes towards all the stuff involved in keeping a show running. Yeah, convention trips, all that stuff. Too Many Games, I'm pretty sure we'll be there I think it's in June.
Especially because they apparently did some good work. They did some good work on reorganizing the convention center and where panels are going to be.
Yeah. Our panel was immediately to directly to the left of a DDR machine in the entire arcade.
It was rough.
We had to shout as loud as we could, and then like half the music didn't even work. So, did we release that episode? I
don't think we did. I think he said the audio connection was weird.
It was rough. It was super rough. So
it was a fun one though.
But our MagFest panel is out on YouTube, so I'll have links to that. I think I forgot to just share that. But our MagFest panel is out there, and that was a lot of fun. So hopefully this year, Too Many Games will be fun. And he said there might be an opportunity for us to be on a second panel.
We'll see, because I haven't heard from the guy since then. But either way, I'm good with the one and just bouncing. Like, yo, by the way, what's up?
I think it's because they haven't announced panels yet. They usually do that like really early, like right before the show.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So we go around to do all that stuff. You can catch us live if you want to see us in person. We are there in the flesh.
And we just like hanging out and playing video games, to be perfectly honest with you. So if you want to show up, come to the panel, and assuming that we don't somehow magically get swamped by a lot of people, we can play board games and video games or whatever.
Yeah,
Just hang out.
Yeah, at MagFest, we played so much Puyo Puyo. That was like one of the highlights. Was right there, was playing Puyo Puyo.
Yes.
And
And honestly,
random people. Yeah.
Hey, and that's the thing. Like, Game Fan was there. We played dance game, and she didn't play much. I was like, no, you're going to play today. You're hanging out with 2 dance game people.
Yeah, that's all we do.
Pretty much. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, like, come hang out. We hung out with Chris Murray for a bit. So it's just worth it. It's just great to hang out and see people and just engage because, I mean, you see those stupid memes. Actually, it's not even a stupid meme. It's a actual like a relevant meme where you see the kid eating ice cream next to the faces of the people he's listening to on the podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't do this with the idea of being like, honestly, I don't think we're going to become famous like that. But even if we did, I don't care. It's more like, this is fun, hanging out and chatting, and the people you can meet from doing the show ends up being a great time.
Yeah.
Like we played games with Martyrs, or I played games with Martyrs when Mike and I saw him out in California. It was like just a random thing. I got to see Brooke in San Francisco, and it was like, yo, I get to hang out with these people from our show.
Yeah.
And they're all, I mean, I've yet to meet a creep. Don't be a creep. But I've yet to meet a creep that listens to the show. So every time we end up meeting a person, it ends up being like one new friend that we didn't even know we had because it's always been just through the interaction.
So don't think of like listening to a podcast of people that you're pretending to be your friends. You're listening to a podcast of people who are friends you just haven't met yet.
Exactly, because it's 100% awesome to meet and hang out and play games
That is
in person.
the sappiest, like smushiest thing I've ever said on the show.
Hey, sometimes it's relevant. It's just it feels good, you know.
All right, we'll see you in a couple weeks on our next episode, 36-5 of the show. In this episode in which Pernell dies. 36-6 is when he's resurrected.
I'm about to say, are we doing a Murder the Sonic the Hedgehog rendition here?
It's going to be a murder mystery. Who killed Pernell?
And then go have an episode where all the different podcasters are on the show talking like,
who murdered Mr. Pernell?
Well, Pernell had a lot of bad things to say about buttered popcorn flavored jelly belly beans, and I wasn't sitting pretty with that. But I didn't kill him.
Dude, I can go for some popcorn. Okay, thank you everybody for listening to the show. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
We'll see you next time. Thank you.
And remember, well, funny enough, on this episode, while we were in the Discord chat, I noticed that Mike Myers made a comment about rest in peace to Lou Albano. And for those who don't know, Captain Lou Albano was the original voice actor for Mario from the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, you know, where the whole Do the Mario came from. But then it got me thinking, there were a couple unfortunate losses to the Super Mario Brothers cartoon family that I can recall off the top of my head or that I remembered and was able to Google for the refresher. So we do have the original Marios and Luigi being, you know, Captain Lou Albano and Danny Wells. Rest in peace to them. We also lost the Mario that did the voice for the Adventures of Super Mario Bros. 3, which was the cartoon that came after on NBC. And that was Walker Boone. So rest in peace to Walker Boone. And lastly, the voice of King Koopa, which really stings because that voice was iconic for me. And I just got cut off.
You're good.
It's okay.
I hit the S button. S is for solo.
What? Solo?
Sorry about that.
It's okay. But yeah, the voice actor for King Koopa, Harvey Atkin, he also passed away over the years. And I gotta tell you, if you never heard King Koopa talk on those old cartoons, you should go back and give it a listen because he, to me, even now, that is Bowser's voice if he could talk. If they ever had a Bowser voice that isn't Jack Black, you know, because, you know, Hollywood or whatever, I feel like it would have to sound as close to that guy's voice as possible. So rest in peace to all those individuals who gave us, you know, joy in our afternoons and Saturday mornings, letting us see the Mario Brothers on screen, showing us a good time as they traverse Pasta Land and Rap Land and eventually Desert Land and Waterland. And also, last point, if you go to the Mario Brothers movie, one of the few like snippets that I recall reading about that's in there, when you watch the beginning of the film, there's like a Mario Brothers commercial that plays for their plumbing service. The woman that is their customer is actually the voice of Princess Toadstool from the original 80s cartoon also.
Oh, cool.
So that's a little bit of fun trivia as well. So rest in peace to those all. Go watch some old Mario Brothers cartoons and have a good night.
Bob Hoskins. Yeah, Bob Hoskins passed away. So.
Bob Hoskins. Oh, yes, he was the Mario from the movie.
From the actual movie, the real movie.
Well, slip back in there. Also, rest in peace to Bob Hoskins.
I haven't stopped recording.
Oh, well, there you go. But I keep all that. John Leguizamo's still alive, though, right?
No, he's dead too.
No, he's not. He just complained about the Mario movie in an interview. So, no.
What's he got to complain about?
I don't know.
I was in a movie that wasn't good. Whatever, man. You do lots of movies.